Hey, it's Sneaked here with yet another video, this time in a plus 23 Solia's Gambit. It went pretty good. It could have gone better. It could have gone worse. Gonna start this video off here. Mid-dungeon, because I forgot to start recording, but that's okay. You get to see me die in a really stupid way almost immediately. And that's really what's important here. Gonna be running with my regular comp here, no pugs around. Starting mid-dungeon here, and this is, of course, everyone's favorite double skill binder pull. We're going to quickly assign interrupts, so we make sure that none of those casts are getting out. And we're going to play this one at regular speed, just so you can see what's going on here. As you can probably tell by the damage meter, Outlaw Rogue is not doing a great job with these, 10 target pulls. But it's okay, because I am going to be having the most important job of interrupting one of these skill binders here. So we want to make sure that they're not getting that fish stick cast off. If it goes off, we are going to be losing time and damage to take care of that stick. The mobs will heal. It's terrible. Between kidney shot, blind, gouge, and vanish, cheap shot, there's a plethora of ways to take care of that. However, this pufferfish takes care of me. I didn't notice it in the water. I didn't notice the massive fish. Neither did Lakini. That's okay. We both died. And with that, we'll just speed up here a bit to keep this pull and run going here. So we finish off this pull. That double skill binder pull is probably the roughest pull in this part of the dungeon. If you're running an uncoordinated group, it is possible to get both of the fish at once with an AoE stun, but it's always better to assign interrupts in case you don't have those stuns or something goes wrong. Going to take out this Coastwalker here, as well as this last skill binder pull. Going to pull off the kidney shot here. Good job, me. And with that, we go to the only Shroud Skip, or Cloak Skip, depending on how I'm feeling today and how I felt when I said it out loud, of this dungeon here. But first, we got to take care of Zalgamex. Anyway, going to put on my Wound Poison. We're going to engage the boss, take care of the Scale Binder first, and then the ads. And then finally, we're going to keep pushing onto Zalgamex, getting her down, taking care of the ad that spawns so we don't get mind controlled. And these Murlocs are everyone's favorite part of the instance. I die here again, and we're just going to keep going here. It's okay. Nothing terrible happened. We're still feeling good on time. This is a pretty easy dungeon to time on a 23. We're running this when last week's affixes. So we've got Fortified Bursting Storming here. And we take the mob down and are going to move on here. So just at regular speed afterwards, after this last trash pack, so we can get our percent for the dungeon. And then we're good to carry on. Alrighty, so this is another easy spot to use the Hidden Spirit Potion if you don't have a rogue, but you probably do. So all we're going to do here is stealth up. Everyone's going to move up together as a unit. We're going to Shroud, hold that W key, and run forward. These guys might steer it. You got to kind of pass right in the center. For the second set, you can distract the Stoneforge Guardian like I did on the right side there to make sure he looks away so everyone can get by. But of course, we're actually going to pull that other Guardian. They're not linked together. And what that is going to do is give us those shrouded stacks in time for the boss fight. So while the boss is doing his RP, we're starting to take care of this fella. And the second we can, we're just going to pull them all together and start the fun. So this boss is yet another boss where using voice is just the greatest thing on the planet. Hylbrande has a couple different abilities. As a rogue, there's nothing really terrible we have to look out for or worry about. A couple fun things to think about, though, are how we're taking care of the ads. So between stun, gouge, blind, and cheap shot, there's a whole bunch of ways we can stop that that empower defense going up like we did there. So if empower defense goes off, the boss gets a shield, and you can't cleave, that's not ideal. We want a blade flurry. We know what we are inside. So by taking care of that stun, we're going to make sure that he doesn't get the cast. So on voice here, we're just communicating where our little pieces are going to go. I'm setting up a 5 combo point finisher, so the second he comes out, we can start doing damage right away. And the phase just repeats over and over again. We're going to get 2 ads in this phase, as you always do. We're going to cleave them down. We're going to stop those stuns using we're going to stop those empowered defenses using our stuns and various abilities, and cleave down as much as possible. Something I need to do more is using gouge. So gouge is a interrupt effect, but it isn't a stun. So if you've ever been gouged in PvP or have been playing this game long enough that every rogue had gouge, you know that gouge is more an inconvenience than everything, But for these mobs, the most important part of the gouge is that it's going to stop their cast. And that's all we really care about here. In-cap effects like gouge and friends are super powerful. It means I'm not using my combo points on something valuable like damage. Like a stun. I'm going to save it for damage. But as you can see here, we take down the mobs. We're going to kill this boss and move on to the rest of the trash. So you may be wondering yourself, man, Sneak, you're an idiot. Why did you play subtlety for the first part of this dungeon when there's like a trillion murlocs and sub is uncapped AoE? Well, the answer is, after this pull here, the rest of the dungeon is 5 mobs or less, and Outlaw does extremely well in the second half of the dungeon. These trash packs are a little more dangerous as well. There's nothing really that you have to interrupt. You can shiv these gentlemen as they drink their saisons and try to move on with life. I hope I said that right. I think it's a Dutch beer, so saison's probably correct, but I hope I am corrected by someone. In the comments, tell me how you say that type of beer, and I will make sure I definitely remember what you said and didn't read your answer phonetically. Anyway, as you can see, I popped off in that last pull, getting some good roll of bones here. We're going to keep blade flurrying. We're going to keep moving here. Nothing super exciting happening. Just taking care of these mobs for the boss. We got the Earthquake LD coming out, doing massive damage. And onto this boss. So we've got you being played by Dustin here. He does an excellent job tanking the boss. If you haven't watched the video from a tank's perspective on this boss, highly recommend you do so. It is really easy to mess this boss up. It is probably one of the most tank-heavy, positioning-heavy Mythic Plus bosses that have come out in at least since Shadowlands started. But as you can see here, we're keeping that top left corner there, and we're going to slowly drag him forward. You can't tell from my angle that I've got right here, but while he's in that corner, he can touch the entire room with his breath. That's going to make it easier for us in the long run. There'll be less ads to deal with. There will be less terrible juiced up men running after us, and that's a win-win. As you can see, as the cannonballs are hitting the floor, we're slowly going to move forward. We've already got the boss at 44% here. This isn't a tyrannical week, so the boss is going to go down pretty easy. As you can see, I'm rolling my bones, using my Vanish on cooldown to try to fish for those extra roll the bones procs. By now, we've kind of entered the center of the room, but the lava from the cannonballs is no longer there. So something we could have done here is actually move the boss back up to the start of the room. That, of course, requires turning the boss and spinning him. And if you ever tanked a dragon before, spinning a dragon is generally considered a party foul. You want to make sure you're communicating with your team when you're going to spin that dragon, or else you could potentially die. So I accidentally stepped my foot into a cannonball there in a tyrannical key that would have procced my cheat death, but it doesn't. I survived with about 5% life left. We go in the last part of the dungeon next. So again, we've got a pull of 3, a pull of 5, and a pull of 4. We're going to pull in some extra friends as well, getting those extra shrouded stacks. And that's about it. We're going to be watching that focused Riftwalker. We don't want him casting his Rift. That will definitely hurt a lot on Fortified. You can see me pop a quick blind there. Keep cleaving down. We're doing a great job. I step in my, I think, 3rd cloud of the dungeon. But with that, the pulls go down. We manage to get our interrupts and stuns off properly. We do get a Revigorate being cast here due to some poor coordination on our part, not communicating very effectively. That's life. We're going to push them over. We're going to do our best to get those pulsars, getting some blade filler cleave on there, and moving on to this boss as soon as possible. We got 5 and a bit minutes left. We're looking real good. We're going to drag the boss to the hidden corner of shame here, where she's going to summon her assassins right on top of her like a fool. Between our Blade Flurry and our Spear of Bastion, these guys aren't going anywhere. Really easy to DPS the boss down here, making sure we're getting that Hyperlight Spark. Our BM Hunter is going to be popping it, letting our Shaman focus on doing extra damage. BM, of course, doesn't really need to move to do its maximum damage, which is super convenient for this. If you've got a BM Hunter or even a ranged DPS who doesn't mind moving a little bit, it can be really helpful because it means your healer is going to stay in range as well as be able to put some extra damage out. And as you can guess, we're running the Shaman because not only is it an excellent class, but also it does a crap ton of damage between its different abilities and its legendaries and, of course, Vesper Totem. So you can see here, I just got a perfect roll of bones here. I've got all 6 buffs. I'm having a great time. You see my damage shoot up here. We're communicating. We're doing our best to make sure that we are dodging these mechanics. I get a little sad to step out of there. I probably should have greeted that one just because I had the 5-stack still, and or the 6-stack Roll of Bones is incredibly powerful. But we're going to have one more dodge here. We've got the Power Woven coming up. Something you can do as a rogue is, of course, move very quickly. If you don't have fast people in your party like I do, so I've got a monk who can just zoom across the map like it's something else. But between the double Door of Shadows and the grappling hook, you can get anywhere you need to be very, very quickly. Highly recommend you communicate, though. Say like, I'm going far, I'm going short. But that is that. We end up getting a 24 Grimmail Depot, which we absolutely despised. We crapped the bed so badly there. The footage would be so sad. Not even my mother would want to watch it. But that's okay because a new week is coming up here. We're excited for it. I hope you are too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. My cat is not here today, unfortunately. He is off. Bye-bye.